Great stuff. So this is quite different from what we've done so far. It is fingerstyle, which is what we covered a couple of weeks ago. So everything we learned for the right hand, still the same. So the thumb usually goes for the bass notes and for some lead lines like I did in the end. And then index, middle, and ring go for the rest of the chord. Now, what's happening here? What's new, since this is fingerstyle that we already know? What is new? What is new is the laid back feel, which has to do with this specific style. You know, the bass, keys, and guitar always kind of drag compared to what the drummer does in R&B and hip hop and all those styles. So we have to be careful not to rush like we would do in rock, where we're exactly on the beat, sometimes even before the beat, just because we want to give this excitement. Here we want to give this feeling of a chilled situation, right? So so that's what we're doing. You know, we're doing it both with chords first time around, and the second time around what I did was play a melody. And that melody now is what serves as a rhythm part, in the sense that if you play with an artist who's singing on top, and maybe there's a busy kind of fusion, jazz, rap line, all these styles could work. Sometimes you might not want to be as busy with playing a whole chord, because maybe there's a keyboard part, or maybe there's a drop in the rhythm section. So you might find that a melody line that follows specific voice leading might work. And this is exactly what I'm doing here. I've got a chord section, and then I'm using the high notes of the chords, or notes that exist in the chord, to follow this change in a similar fashion. Yeah, because like I said, maybe the track has a lot of keyboards in, and you just want to play you just want to add a texture with a melody line, which is repetitive. So to me, this works as a rhythm part. Or maybe you want to accompany the singer with a harder part, which is going to be what we played with the fingerstyle chords. I'm going to start with the chords, and I'm just going to go through the shapes first, all the shapes, so we can then put the rhythm together, because it's actually an easy rhythm. I've got an E minor 9, first of all, in bar 1, which is, so these are frets 7 on the A, 5 on the D, 7 on the G, 7 on the B strings. And I'm picking, you know, thumb, index, middle, ring. Then in bar 2, I've got an E minor 6, 9. This is only 1 fret different than what we had. However, we need to reposition the fingers. So frets now are 7 on the A, 5 on the D, 6 on the G, this is our change, and 7 on the B string. So this is an E minor 6, or E minor 6 add 9, E minor 6, 9. You might see it like those, all those names apply. Then we're moving, okay, so these first 2 bars, they're like a Dorian sound, right? Because we've got an E minor 9 chord. Then we're adding a major 6. So that's like a Dorian sound. And then I'm going to something different. I'm going to G minor 7. Now that's not in the same key. And again, this is something you will occasionally see in this style. Soul, fusion, R&B, hip hop, these type of styles, they have chords, they borrow chords from other keys as well. Now, G minor 7, I'm playing it with fret 3 on the low E string. Again, frets 3 on the D and G strings. I'm not doing anything on the A. And fret 6 on the B string. Thumb takes care of the low E string, and then I've got index, middle, and ring plucking the D, G, and B strings. So I'm kind of not doing anything on the A. That's my G minor 7, and I'm moving to bar 4, where I've got an A minor 7. I went for the default shape here, just for a different voice leading on the high notes. So I'm playing frets 5 on low E, D, G, and B strings. It's an easy one. You're only barring with your first finger. And then B flat major 7. Now this is frets 6 on the low E, 7 on the D, 7 on the G, and 6 on the B string. And this is same idea, thumb, index, middle, ring finger on the right hand. So these three chords now, bars 3 and 4, they're in the G Dorian mode, if you want to think of it like that. And then it goes back to an E minor 9. So we've kind of figured out, actually no, sorry, there's one last chord in bar 5, because we've got the second ending, alternate ending, which is what now? This is a B flat over with a bass of a C. So still in the same key, still in G Dorian. So that goes frets 8 on the low E, 8 on the D, 7 on the G, and 6 on the B string. So you might see this notated as a C11 chord. Same thing. Let me just put those together. I'm gonna go to bar 1. Now the important thing here are the rests. The rests are not, they are deliberate. There's nothing random about this. The rests are following what the bass groove does. So if we miss the rests, we're missing the groove for this R&B thing. So we need it to be staccato at these places, and we need to add the rests in between, you know, especially wherever you see a quarter note rest. It's to move us to something different, but not in a, because this style doesn't flow like this. It goes, it is, like I said, a little snappy sometimes to follow that beat, that drum beat. And also, if you notice, well, like I said in the beginning, we need to be laid back. So we don't want to play 100% on the beat. And something I didn't mention, we are in shuffle 16th notes. It's notated on the beginning of the tab. This means we're not playing straight 16th notes, we're playing them as triplets. I've explained that in one of the previous lessons. I think it was week, I can't remember what week it was, but it was during the funk lessons. So you can feel free to go back to those and check it out. But I'll just quickly show that a 16th note, which is straight, goes, and the shuffle ones go like, so second and fourth 16th note are moved slightly later. Now, bar 1, rhythm-wise, we've got the chord coming in on beat 1, then we've got a rest for beat 2, and then we're coming in with the bass note of the chord on the last 16th note, which is 2 E and A. This is the A. And then I've got 2/8 on beat 3. First eighth is staccato played, specifically. Then I've got a rest on beat 4. So the whole thing goes like 3, 4. What did I do? I used this percussive technique that I showed a couple of lessons back for the fingerstyle, which is to keep me in time and also to make it a little more rhythmic. So again, 3, 4. I'm going to move on to the next bar because this is an easy rhythm. You know, it's just spelling out the chord and just splitting the bass note on just slightly before beat 3. Then I've got my bar 2, which is E minor 6, 9, which is, now I've got a half note, it's a long chord, follows the bass line, rest. Fret 7 now is a staccato note. I want it to lead me to the next chord, but not to stick those together. I need a quick breath in between, so that's why I'm playing it staccato. I'm gonna play the first 2 bars, so 3, 4. This is what helps me drop the third chord on bar 3, which is my G minor 7. I'm going to say that again quickly if you've tuned in now. So we've got frets 3 on low E, D and G strings, and then fret 6 on the B string. Same exact rhythm as bar 1, which is 1, a 3, and I've got some very specific rests which we need to follow. So 3, 4. On my rests, I can do that slap quietly, discreetly on the right hand to keep me in time and to make sure I've muted the chord. And I'm going to move on to bar 4, which is the last, well, we've got one more chord actually. So we've got our A minor 7. The A minor 7 is again staccato played. It's not, because it misses again the feel. So we need to be careful with that rest there. So frets 5 on low E, D, G and B, and then for the A minor 7, and then frets 6, 7, 7 and 6 on the same strings for the B flat major 7. Let me play the whole thing from bar 1. So 3, 4. Again, a rest on beat 4. Very important rest here to take us again to the beginning. So I'm playing bars 1, 2 and 3 again, and I've got a slight change, just a different chord on bar 5 for my second ending, which goes. Again, for this B flat over C, I'm using fingers 3, 4, 2 and 1 on strings low E, D, G and B, and the frets are 8, 8, 7 and 6. It's like your triad with one whole tone above the root note for your bass. I think we're ready to play the whole thing. It's nothing crazy, you know. As soon as you get the fingerings down for the chords and follow exactly the rhythm, you can play the whole thing. The important thing is, like I said, to play it laid back. So let's do this with a click. I'll try to demonstrate how you can play laid back. You definitely need to put some motion in your body to achieve this. If you stay still, there's no way you can make this work, and actually this is not a joke. So yeah, make sure you try and hop onto the notes, onto that rhythm value, if this word helps describe it. So let's play the whole thing. 2, 3, 4. That's the thing. If you notice, I'm slightly afterwards, after the click, just trying to follow it, fall into the beat last minute. Follow the bass and the backing track, and this will help you achieve it. It's not something that you might be used to. It's not something that I was used to until I played my first gig with a hip-hop artist, and you know, the keyboard player and the bass player, they had specific instructions. You need to play laid back. You need to be after the drummer. Well, at that time, it wasn't very easy to understand what that meant, but if you listen to that music a lot, if you listen to, I mean, this whole type of laid back feel is if you listen to Jay Dilla's records, you'll hear this happen a lot. This was something that he made popular, so you can check it out to understand that feel. Or if you've listened to hip hop, you might already know that that type of rhythm feel. All right, so I'm moving on to the melody, or my melody slash rhythm part. This is the same thing now. We're just playing laid back, and we're just aiming for some of the notes of the chord. Because remember, you might put these two parts together if there's and then it actually works like a chord fill. Or you might put them separately, like I've done. So if you look at bar 1 for the melody, it's got frets 5 and 7 on the B string, going with a slide from 5 to 7. So again, I've got a rest here. And I'm just getting ready to get to the next bar by playing the same note again with a hammer. So I'm sliding into it. I want to make this obvious, so that's why I'm putting a rest before it. I want to make this preparation that goes then to frets 4 and 6 of the G string. Okay, so which notes am I actually using then? That was the top note of my... So it's the voice leading, same thing here. And then I'm accenting this note in my melody, which was the basic note in the E minor 6 chord. That's what we changed. So my voice leading goes... And that's the last note on beat 4 of bar 2. So I'll just play the first 2 bars. It goes 3, 4. And that rings into the next bar. What do you notice? Beat 4 of bar 1, my last note is staccato again, because I just want to fall onto that next bar, bit laid back. Okay? I'm going to play bar 3 and connect those together. So bar 3 is ringing out from beat 4 of bar 2, which goes 1, 2, 3. Beat 4 of bar 2. Easy stuff. This is like a transition note because my chord is not changing there. But the original 7 fret on the G string, if you think about it, it's the perfect fifth of my G minor 7. So if I play the whole thing, it would be like, I add these notes, these 2 parts together. And then this is a passing note, 5 on the G string, to go to, I'm sorry, one moment. Yeah, to go back to fret 7. Why is this happening now? Because after the G, I've got an A minor 7, so I'm keeping that same note ringing because it's a part of the chord. It's the minor 7th. And then fret 7 on the G string is the major 7 of the B flat. I mean, this is all harmony, so you might not need to worry about it too much at the moment, but all I want to say is that these notes are not random. They're belonging to it, they're relevant chords that we played on the chord part. So I'll just put the first 4 bars together, which go like 3, 4. This feels a bit odd without a click, but let's just work on bar 5 as well, and we'll put the click in because it's a bit displaced. I mean, if you notice, a lot of those go into places of the bar that you wouldn't expect them to. So it might be a combination of 3 beats, 1 thing, and 1 beat, or the other way around. 1 beat, 1 note, and then 3 beats for the other note. Very common again for these rhythm displacements in R&B and in modern hip hop and all that, and fusion. So I'm playing bar 5 now, which is almost the same as bar 4, but it just stays on the same note. So fret 5 on the G string rings out from the bar before. So it's like 1, 2, 3. I'm so sorry, let's do that again. So I'm playing bar 3 and then jumping to alternate ending in bar 5. So 1, 2, 3. That's the one. It's the same note, but I'm just playing it again. Why? Because now I've got a different chord on the background, which is... So it's essentially like I'm playing... It's like the 5th of the chord now. If you think about the bass note and the melody line that we're playing, again, this note belongs to the next chord. So towards the A, it's a -7. And towards the B flat over C, it's a perfect 5th. Things to think about, you know, if you want to analyze what's happening. Let me play the whole thing with a click. I mean, this should be easy stuff. The notes are very long. The rests are what's important here, and the groove. So let's do it at 60, same tempo I did the rhythm before, and 3, 4. Great. I've played the second round with a thumb, which is what I did in the beginning when I demonstrated the melody. You could do it with a pick, you know, whatever you like. Both things work. I just played them both now so you could hear the difference in the tone. If I play a melody with a thumb, it kind of sounds more round, like it has more low end to it, more of a body. The note has like it's fatter, so you might prefer it. And yeah. I mean, this is the whole thing, really. Things to pay attention to is, you know, get used to your fingerstyle, like we said in a few, like we talked about a few lessons ago, and introduce this new laid-back type of comping, which is almost like we're following the drums with a delay, as if we heard the whole thing slightly later and played on top of it. But yeah, this was great work. If you have any questions about the harmony, about the selection of those chords, about anything, I hope you've already put those in the live chat. I'm going to be back in a few minutes to answer those questions. Yeah, I mean, we're at the end of this course. It's been good. I mean, I've enjoyed it. I hope you have enjoyed it too. Thank you for watching and for being here and for studying all this stuff with me. I hope I can see you in the next course. You can feel free to check out my Secrets of Melodic Rock Guitar course on jamplay.com. This is a full course. And actually it has a great unit about this laid back type of feeling when playing rhythm. So you might get more help from that. But other than that, it was great hanging out with you, and I'll play the whole thing with the original track again. It's only one track. I mean, it's very slow anyway, so I don't think you need a second backing track. I've only made this in 70 BPM. I hope you enjoy playing that, and I'll see you in a bit. Great. Let's do this. Brilliant. Thank you very much again. I hope you've had fun. I'll see you on the next thing coming up with jamplay.com. Cheers. Hello everyone, this is Irene again. I'm back with the end of this course. It was a sweet course. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. And today actually we've got a lot of great questions. I think maybe they are the most interesting so far. So let's go check them out. Do you have any exercises that will help me relax more into the vibe? The trick is the breathing, to be honest. So I would say try to time your breathing with the tempo, and this is what will help you relax. Actually, this will help you relax with everything you play. So perhaps you could take a chord and play it in whole notes and go breathe in before the beat. So maybe say on beat 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. I'm breathing in on beat 4 and I'm just making sure that my breathing out goes with the chord. And this is to play on time. If you want to play behind the beat, maybe your breathing also goes slightly later than the beat. So if we got 1, 2, 3, 4. That was too much though. And play with the tapping of the foot. It's easier with the metronome. So you're slightly after the beat. Try that. Try, practicing just chords. Obviously you can do that with lead, but timing your breathing. So try to breathe in on beat 4, breathe out on beat 1, and time your breathing with the chord, because this is what helps you make it sound like it's breathing and relaxing and organic. Now, do you have some hip-hop artists you would recommend listening to get better? Yes, you could listen to Jay Dilla. This is the one I mentioned in the course. And then you could definitely check out D'Angelo. That's a great example of laid-back playing. Perhaps, you could always check out some funk for laid-back playing, even, Billy Cobham stuff, any guitars they've had. But if you want a really laid back feel, a really like behind the beat, I would recommend, Jay Dilla and D'Angelo. Perhaps some stuff from Eric Badu, that type of feel. And of course, this is relevant to a question afterwards, so I'll save it for later. Now, what are some of your favorite R&B chords? Great. I would say most of these chords are jazzy, to be honest. I'm not a jazz player, but some of these chords, these extended chords, you can use in songwriting a lot, and they are modal. They have this modal sounding. So I would say the minor 9, which I have in the course, minor 6, minor 7, minor with a major 7. That's cool. Great tension. This is like a Lydian chord. This is a B flat major sharp 11, and with an added 9. Or you could add to that with some more extensions, then the minor 11, the 11. That's the Motown chord for my ears, at least. There's loads. You can start with the basics. Really, if you start with the minor 7s and the major 7s, you can always add to those. Unless then, of course, you want some mega tension, maybe you can do like this is 7 sharp 5. This is a 13 chord. It goes on. If you built from a basic shape, You've got many, many choices. And you don't have to play jazz to learn those. You can just experiment with your basic shapes, add and remove notes, and there you have it. I love this course. What should I take next to continue in this vein of learning? I love that you love it. Now, well, if you're referring to this last course, I would say that to learn this type of playing, I mean, to develop it a bit better, the best thing to do is to check out some drummers and bassists who do that, because it's a very obvious feel. You will see that when a drummer demonstrates this behind the beat playing, it becomes very obvious what you would need to play on the guitar. Sometimes, you know, when you do it by yourself and you don't hear it from someone authentic who's doing that, you know, to write this actual music, it might be challenging. But if you listen to that, I think you can definitely take it to the next level and apply it to your lead playing. Now, if you mean about the whole course, I would recommend just practicing any rhythm part you could get your hands on. Like learn a riff. Even if you can't play the whole song, just learn the riff and try to groove it as best as you can. Use all the techniques, like the rhythm techniques we learned, and experiment. Because, for example, you can take a rock riff and see if you can try to make it more laid back. Drop it down to the tempo. Use this approach we talked about today. There's lots of stuff to be applied to even simple songs. And definitely what I said before about the breathing. Anything you do rhythm-wise, you want to like incorporate the breathing into it, because otherwise you can hear that it's not natural, that it doesn't groove. And for me at least, the groove comes from incorporating your breathing while playing, so that you're not missing, you know, that pulse, that, you know, that realistic feel of the rhythm. Right, next one we've got, if I'm writing an R&B solo, what are some techniques I should implement to make it sound groovy? Slide, definitely, because, and hammer-ons, remember the pick always has quite an attack, so it's kind of not suitable to pick all the notes you play if you want to make them laid back. So slide is something that helps, because, you know, like I did in this, you've got all the time to move it later on. If I'm playing in this groove, I would want to use a lot of slides to would want to use the dynamics and that laid back feel to make it sound, well, groovy. Groovy is a different, I mean, to me groovy means something like something that is not as delayed. So it could be, if it's groovy, it would be like, I don't know if you could combine both. I'm trying to think if you could do it laid back, playing behind the beat, and making it groovy as well. Perhaps you could do it part by part. So like, so see what I did? I mean, on those laid back notes, they were my resting points. For the rest of it, I could keep the tempo if I wanted to. And then I'm adding this laid back feel to some of the exit notes. Ideally, I should have a metronome to demonstrate this, but send me, you know, you can send me a personal message if you want me to elaborate on this, maybe send you a video for this with the click. So yeah, grooviness comes from thinking about it more as a funk rhythm style. So, and shuffle. To be honest, this was shuffle playing that I was doing. It was shuffle 16th notes. We did that a few lessons ago. So if you use shuffle, always it kind of sounds more groovy, you know. And if you want it to sound behind the beat, then you can delay that last note of your leg. So, although this laid back thing always kind of implies a slower tempo. So you could definitely experiment with those. So when I mean slower tempo, maybe goes half time on the song. So yeah, you would probably avoid bends on an R&B solo unless they're very, I don't know, if it's a semitone, it's very sweetly done. You want it to sound mellow and yeah, like I said, kind of sweet and almost jazzy, I would say. It almost sounds jazzy. Also, you know, check your tone. You probably don't want a treble pickup on that. And perhaps even you could roll your tone back a bit. I've done this now for this tone that I'm playing with. Okay, next one. I have a really cheap guitar. Do I need better equipment to sound as good as you? Thank you very much. Thank you for the compliment. I don't know. It depends on what the guitar you have is. If it's a cheap guitar, but it has some good intonation across the board, so that, because that's the most important thing. If the notes don't sound like, if they sound out of tune, that is a problem for your tone in general. So it's got a decent intonation and, you know, the pickups are quite okay. They can get the signal to the amp. The rest of it is coming from your fingers, my friend. So I'm sure you can. If it's a tele style guitar, I'm sure you will get a great tone out of it. I mean, at least my tone, a lot of it comes from the tele. I mean, comes from the hands, but I don't know how to explain it. The tele gives me that tone that I want, so it kind of gets out in the mix the way I want it, without too much fiddling on the amp. So yeah, you can get tele if you want to sound similar to what I do, and take care of the intonation. Right, now we've got one last one. Could you please go over your fingering for the first two measures of the chords? I believe you're talking about the minor 9 and the minor 6. So I can definitely, yeah, go over that. We've got second finger on fret 7 of the A string. Then I've got first finger on the 5th fret of the D string. So I've got E and G. Then I've got third finger on the G string on the 7th fret. And right under it, fourth finger on the 7th fret of the B string as well. So these notes are D and F sharp, which is the 9th. So this is. And then I'm doing a minor change here. I'm actually just moving one note to another fret, and this is string G string. From fret 7, I'm going to fret 6. But I just have to rearrange the fingers because it's not going to work if I, you know, that's not going to work. So I'm just going to replace fret 7 on the A string with the 3rd finger. E note again. Then I'm going to go with the first finger, same as before, on the G note on the D string. Fret 5. Then I'm going to go on fret 6 of the G string with the 2nd finger. That's my 6th. This is the C sharp note. And then I'm going to leave, that's again the same, 4th finger on the F sharp note on the B string, which is fret 7. So it's 7, 5, 6, 7. So that's what you're doing. You're just exchanging fingers 2 and 3. This is what happens in slow motion. I hope this helps you. Okay, perfect. So this was the last question for the course. I'm very happy we made it to the end. This was 8 weeks, summer weeks, and we did a lot of great work on rhythm playing. I really hope you enjoyed it. I definitely did. And hopefully, sure enough, I'll catch you on the next one with Jam Play. This was great fun. Have a good time. Take care, and I'll see you very, very soon. Take care.